And we already seen a lot of user cases that's already meeting the expectations across different applications in different regions and countries. So the first one I would like to share is the user case in the government institutions. You know, in the recent years, we are witnessing a very important moment in the AV industry where the exciting convergence of the AV and broadcast. And we saw the demand of the broadcast quality installations in corporates, in universities, and also in large venues. And so this is the one that can truly represent this trend. This is the National Anti-Corruption Commission in Thailand. And the Telycam Explore camera, the 1-inch sensor PTZ camera, is here to tackle their biggest challenge, to streamline their teamwork across different regions and offices. And actually, the government, they are looking for really broadcast quality, but they require ease of use, simplified user interfaces, and also, of course, a budget-friendly price point. So this is where the bundle of Explore camera and also the TriCaster step in. So this project installed several Explore cameras in their major meeting rooms and also hearing chambers in the NACC. So the simplicity, the security, and also the reliability of the NDI workflow is a perfect fit for this government institution. So the camera is pre-configured with one-touch presets. So even a new staff can operate them very confidently within minutes. So here are our local partners in Thailand ran hands-on training sessions with the NACC staff. So, and the next one I would like to share is our groundbreaking work in the sports live streaming. This is the 2025 World Wheelchair Mixed Doubles Curling Championship in Scotland. And just for your information, this is a pivotal qualifier for the 2026 Paralympic Winter Games. And this event required a production setup that can balance both the broadcast quality with athlete-centric design. And here are some pictures of the deployment. We have the Telycam Explore cameras mounted on the ceiling trusses using the vibration dampening clamps. So this elevated positioning to avoid the floor obstruction because the athletes need to run their sports on the ice. So this kind of installation or this position of the camera helps them to ensure 100% visibility. So the 1-inch sensor delivers 4K 60p quality, and the larger sensor delivers broadcast quality and matching capability that shine in multiple camera workflow. What's more, I would like to mention the AI fast-paced auto tracking. It can follow the athlete once it's locked, once the auto tracking is turned on. So for this kind of sports scenarios, the auto tracking function adds much value to the whole production. And the next one is the project in the live podcast and all the interviews. This is at the ISLE exhibition in China, Shenzhen. And I'm sure most of you have already heard of IABM. And this is the IABM organization. They were hosting an interview, a podcasting on the ISLE exhibition. They set up 2 PTZ cameras, one for the wide view and another for close-up shots to switch between the host and also the guest using presets. So, and they are also using vMix to work to stitch those feeds into a PIP layout. So for this kind of scenarios, I have to say simplicity was the key. So instead of wrestling with a ton of cables, they just plug the HDMI for video and use the NDI for control the camera remotely, and just one person to handle everything from switching and graphics, and no other, they don't need a many cameramen. So here are the user cases I would like to share from Thailand to Scotland and also in China. And I believe Lawrence and the Mediacast team also collected other user cases in other industries. And now I would like to pass the floor to Larry so he could share some more user cases for you guys. Larry, you're on mute.
You are on mute. So guys, as Larry's just sorting out the audio, I just would like to, because now we're going to do, apart from the use cases, we're now going to do a deep dive on the Telycam Explore features, and then we'll be doing a demo. Now, I understand, I'm seeing the nature of the people that I know a lot that are joining this group. You will definitely have a lot of questions, and we would like that. We would like you to keep your questions. We would like to have a discussion later on. So please be as engaged as you can. We would love to carry on this conversation even after the demo. So there you go. Hold on.
Yes, if you have any questions, I'm here and our team is here, and you can also type in the chat box, and we can answer you instantly.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, happens all the time. So, yeah, as I was saying, I'm gonna turn on my presentation now. So there has been a lot of there has been a lot of applications for for Telycam Explore, and this is something that we are very excited to share with you. So the first one that we have in our region is the one from Abu Dhabi Media Network, wherein this is a very interesting setup, wherein, as you can see from the images on your screen, you will see how crazy, I would say, but it works. The camera is basically mounted on top of that rig that they created for it. So if you notice, this is an outdoor shoot. And the beauty of a camera, a PTZ camera, number one, that can be mounted at that position. And number two, a camera that can provide you with ND filters. That's extremely helpful in situations like this. The other one is from our friends in our Istanbul office, wherein they are using a Telycam PTZ camera called By Horses TV. And basically, they really need a camera that they can position in hard to reach areas. And in cases like this, just like what Ivy said, there are multiple options on how you can take your camera signals back. So I forgot to mention, for instance, the one that I showed you from Abu Dhabi Network, Abu Dhabi Media, they're using a Blackmagic SDI workflow in there, wherein they're using, or they're taking the 4K output of the camera and then essentially send that to their live production. And in other cases, for instance, for this, it's in Istanbul Festivali, wherein a company called Koala Production, they use Telycam Explore to capture the performance of that event. And it's not just local artists, local Turkish artists, but it's also there are also international artists that performed in that. And we've been to concerts in the past. I think we all have experienced this, wherein while someone is performing, you have an odd shot of cameraman walking through the stage taking a specific shot. This is something that can be solved by a PTZ camera. And of course, we all know that we've been seeing a lot of PTZ cameras in the market for the past few years. But what we're trying to say here is that yeah, you're using a PTZ camera, but be mindful of the quality of the PTZ camera that you're looking at. And this is something that we're very proud of at Mediacast, to have Telycam as part of our part of our product portfolio. Again, there's another one, Melike Shahin concert at, again, in Turkey. Again, they're using Telycam cameras in here. And again, one thing to take note is that this is a low light environment. Okay. This is something that needs a lot of reproduction of colors to your sensor. Having a good sensor, a good size sensor, this is something that can really help you achieve a very good production out of your system. And lastly, we have Dubai Games. So Telycam Explorer was actually used in this production. Sorry, yeah, in this production, mainly because it's actually mounted at, again, at the hard to reach position, wherein a cameraman or a typical camera with a cameraman will have a hard time to reach. Now, today we're going to be speaking about Explore. Okay, that's going to be our topic for today. But I want you to take note that Telycam offers a wide range of PTZ cameras, whether it's in HD or in 4K, or whether you need SDI or HDMI or a combination of both, whether you need a big sensor like a 1-inch sensor that we're talking about now, or could be a smaller sensor for other purposes. Telycam has a range for that. And you just need to let us know if you have any projects that you're currently working on, and we'll be very happy to suggest a specific model that would fit that specific requirement. So going back, Telycam Explore. This is the topic for the day. Now, it's just a real powerhouse. The camera is pretty hard to explain in its entirety because it's just so powerful. The camera itself is on its own, is a very powerful camera. It uses a 1-inch sensor. It provides you 20x of optical zoom, and it has a pretty good wide angle at 9mm at its widest. It has variable aperture, starts at f2.8 and goes up to f4.5 as you go through your zoom level. And the signal to noise ratio of the camera is pretty good at something above 50 decibels. So this is a real power horse. Now, we can speak about the whole specification of the camera, but I don't want to bore you with that. But I just want to highlight some key technical highlights or technical features of the camera. Number one, let's just start with it, the Sony 1-inch sensor. We have been hearing this a lot. I've worked with some of you in the call right now, and we've been discussing a lot about sensor size, or why people want us a bigger sensor, or why can't we go for a smaller sensor, that kind of thing. Now, this is me saying that, okay, yeah, Telycam has a 1-inch sensor, but I want to emphasize why is that important. It is important because, of course, the bigger the sensor, the better the image that it can produce. It has an impressive depth of field. So for you to be able to achieve a shallow depth of field, you need a big sensor. Depth of field or shallow depth of field, the blurriness of the background, that's going to be very difficult to achieve if you're using a smaller sensor. And since you're using a smaller sensor, you're getting a better low light performance compared to smaller sensor cameras. And with all of that, Telycam has created a camera that uses a 1-inch sensor and provides you with a very good overall image quality. And all of that, a majority part of it is because of the sensor. Next one is the PDAF. This is something that is not really spoken a lot, but Telycam Explore uses PDAF. PDAF stands for face detection autofocus, which means that This feature is really important because that feature allows the camera to produce a fast and rapid and accurate tracking. And at the same time, the response time for focusing is really quick. Now, there are a lot of times wherein, you're using a PTZ camera, you zoom in and out of your image, and then suddenly you're hunting for focus, or the camera hunts for focus. With Telycam Explore, it's not the case because of this technology that they embedded into the camera. And like what we are always saying, that you focus on the framing, you focus on your composition rather than focusing on the technical aspects of your shot. And that's because the camera is able to provide you with that auto tracking, with that quick, lightning fast autofocus. Now, on the side note, I want to say something it might be very technical for some, but I just want to share something. So this is something that I am discussing with one of my colleagues the other day, and it's really interesting how it was presented. Like, for example, if you're using a broadcast camera, okay, let's say broadcast camera, the reason why people are using broadcast camera is, number one, because of the sensor size, which is like what we have, and number two is for them to be able to use a parfocal lens. So parfocal lens are lenses that allows you to have a focus from your widest shot of your image all the way to the tightest shot of your image. So you get a parfocal image wherein across that zoom range, you're getting a focused image. Now, Telycam, the Explore, it's not a parfocal camera. The lens is not parfocal, sorry. The lens that we're using is not parfocal. However, because of PDAF, it provides you with the same reaction to the camera. So if you zoom in and then you zoom out, everything stays in focus. And what makes it a lot interesting is even if your camera pans left to the right, the camera still provides you with that amazing focus on your subject. So that's what's really make this camera really, really special. Now, ports availability, I think you've gone through a lot of presentations wherein we showed you a lot of ports available in the camera. This is self-explanatory, but you will see that we have a lot of ports. And I just want to highlight something, the SFP Plus. So the camera has a SFP Plus port, so that allows you to transmit your video signal from the camera if your distance requires more than 100 meters. So this is a very handy feature that's available in the camera. ND filter, this is really, really exciting. The ND filters of the camera are all mechanical. It's not electronic, it's not electric, which means that there's an ND filter that's essentially in front of your sensor. So this is great for outdoor shooting. The Abu Dhabi media that I showed you a while ago, it was shot in daylight, outdoor. The concert event that happened in Istanbul, it was outdoor, and it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to achieve your perfect exposure if you don't have an ND filter. And if you don't want to use the internal NDs of the camera, there's also a filter thread. So if you want to attach your own filter, that's also unavailable in a feature in this camera. My favorite feature so far, not so far because I have a lot of favorites here, but one of my favorite features of the camera is the onboard recording. The camera has a built-in micro SD slot, which allows you to record, which allows you to have an ISO recording that's going to be essential in any live production. Content is king. If anything happens to your content, that's it. If you cannot do another take, well, you can if it's not live, but what if it's live? You cannot really do another take. So this is something that's a very good feature that's available in the camera. And we're going to discuss more of the onboard recording shortly. Just give me a second there. And again, there's a lot of highlights there, but some more notable highlights in here. So if you guys or your clients are working in a 3D environment like virtual production, augmented reality, mixed reality, extended reality, it has a 3D support. 3D is basically the protocol that allows the machine, the graphics machine, and the camera to have a connection to each other, to speak to one another, and that allows your machine, graphics machine, to control the positioning of your camera. So that is happening using 3D support. And it's not just about graphic software, because there are also robotic arms that are also requiring some 3D as a protocol for them. Telycam has a built-in 3D support. Now, during the ports, slide on the ports, you will see that there's a lot of ports available in the camera. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a mini XLR port. So the mini XLR port, that port allows you to have a microphone input, and the camera provides phantom power. So if your input requires phantom power, then the camera will be available to provide that, which means that if anything happens to your audio mixer, just plug in your microphone to the camera, and then you basically have an embedded audio or recorded audio into the camera right away. There's also a feature for networking called SSDP that allows you to take the camera out of the box, plug it into your network, and instantly that will be discovered by your network. So that's a very handy, unique, tiny feature that they added, but really helpful for large network setups. And we've been speaking about broadcasters, and if if you're talking to a lot of broadcasters, you know how crazy they can be on gen locks. So the camera has a built-in gen lock that allows the camera to, again, send it to your customers, plug the camera. Of course, you take the video out of the camera, but at the same time, if your camera is gonna be positioned in a synchronous environment that requires sync for every camera or production switcher, recorder, and router, then the camera is ready for that. Just plug in your gen lock or reference source to your camera, and the camera will instantly be in sync with all of your other devices in your broadcast environment. So now that's the camera. Now I want to show you how the camera works. And if you have any questions, just feel free to type them in. My colleague Albert, Ivy, will answer them, and we'll have a time to answer them later on as well. But for now, I just want to show you some of the unique features of the camera in terms of control. So if you notice right now, that's my interface, and that's my camera. I'm using Explore camera as my camera for today's Zoom, all via NDI, by the way, running through our TriCaster. But what I want to share with you is that all I need to do to connect to the camera is to know the IP address of that. Okay, so once I get the IP of the camera, I'll be able to run it and access it in any web browser. Now, I've been speaking about image quality. I've been throwing image quality, how good the image quality of the camera is. And this is what you get from the camera. So with the image quality of the camera, apart from the output of the camera that you get right away when you turn on the camera, you will also have the ability to adjust it. Now, there are different adjustments available in the camera. Right now, I'm working on manual mode for my exposure, so I control my shutter speed, my iris, all the features that you see right here. And also, of course, white balance, you have that. Right now, my light source is set to 5600, so I'm set that to outdoor. But if I know the exact temperature, color temperature of the room, I can actually adjust that using this adjustment bar right here. So as you can see, it just changes instantly. So it changes instantly as I move the cursor back and forth. The next one that I want to show you is, what's the next one? Sorry. ND filters. Sorry about that. So ND filters. So remember the shot where it was outside and all. So right now I turned off my ND filter. I don't need ND filter in this room. I only have single light source right now. But as you can see, I can have different ND filters available in the system. So if I create a one-stop ND, that's it. If I go for 64, then yeah, you won't be able to see me anymore. So that is the power of ND filters in the camera. And I turn it back off and just remove the ND filters from the camera. And again, I can access that through the interface right away. Now, again, one of my favorite features, and I've been I told Ivy about this, that this is something that's really exciting for people to know, the day and night feature. So the camera has a night mode. So right now we're in day mode, and I cannot show you this, unfortunately, because it's well lit right here. But if I switch to night mode, this is what I get. So imagine if the room has no light at all, you instantly get an image through the night mode of the camera. And that's really interesting. And you're gonna be looking at cases wherein people would need to operate in no light environment, in extremely low light environment. And this is something that's going to be very helpful. Again, you're looking at the 1-inch sensor. You're looking at the technology that Telycam created for their camera. And you're looking at features that Telycam has thrown into the interface for you to be able to use. So I'm just going to go back to day, and that brings colors back to us. Next is, what's next? Sorry. Oh, 3G SDI crop. Now, this is, again, one of the features that are most often overlooked by people who are buying our cameras. But if you find a use for this, this is going to be very, very helpful. So I'm going to go to crop mode. Okay. Right now, you're seeing my entire shot. So my entire shot is basically being shot using the full sensor of the camera. But I want you to take note of this. So there's a crop here. There's a square here. So what we did is that we took the SDI output of the camera. There are two SDI ports. There's a 12 gig SDI output, and there's a 3 gig SDI or 3G SDI output, which means that is a 1920 by 1080, 60p. You have a 3840 by 2160 P60 maximum on 12G SDI. At 12 gig SDI, you're getting the full frame, the 12 gig SDI port. Now, the 3G SDI port is basically this tiny little square that you see in my screen right now. So as we did, I created some presets. So if I, let's say, you will see a small window on your screen right now, on the lower right of your screen. If I go and click preset number 1, so you will see that change. You can go to preset number 2, that changes. Preset number 3, that changes. So in an instant, what you notice is that you have essentially like 2 cameras in your live production. I can have a tight shot of myself in this, and I have a wide shot of myself using the 3G SDI output. So if you're working with a production switcher, for instance, to say an Atom switcher that allows for resolution conversions and or support for multiple resolutions in your single session, then that is gonna be very helpful. So on a single camera, it's like you have 2 cameras in it. But if you really, really, really think about it, in a single camera, you have a 12 gig SDI out, but then you have 8 presets for your 3G SDI. So it's like you have 8 3G SDI camera and you have 1 4K camera using the 3 gig SDI out. I hope that makes sense. And lastly, the topic is auto tracking, right? Good.
Yes.
Now, auto tracking. For me, this is something that I have tried multiple times with different brands. I don't want to mention some brands, but some of you have operated or created or used designs or designed your projects using different brands out there. And especially when the client's asking for auto tracking, this is something that really makes the Telycam very interesting for them. Telycam probably is using one of, or if not the best auto tracking PTZ camera in the world right now. I may be wrong, but I am confident that I am right in this. But because I really love this feature and I want to share this with you. So right now, if I enable auto tracking in my camera, as you can see right away, there is a target scaling available in the camera. So let's say if I do a full body target setting, the camera right away is essentially going to be tracking my full body. Right now, the camera is positioned high up. That's why it looks awkward. But if I do, let's say, above waist auto tracking, the camera is going to track me above waist, and I'm happy that the camera knows where my waist is. So, but that's in there. I can also create a framing or where I want the camera to frame me. So right now I'm at the center of the frame, which because I set it at that. But if I set it at left, the camera will always position me towards the left side of the frame. So if I move towards the other side, the camera will keep on tracking me and putting me on the left side of the frame. And same goes if I go to this other side. And if I take it to the right, then the camera will position me to the right side of the frame. Again, that's a very handy feature, especially if you're dealing with settings or setups wherein you have a speaker that needs to be tracked. And the good thing about auto tracking of the camera, if I may invite Albert on here. So if the camera is tracking me, all right? So the camera will continue to track me even if Albert is here. Now, if Albert is on my here, what's this? Now I'm confused because I'm looking at the camera. So this is my left. So if I switch the target to the left, okay, now it's tracking Albert. Now, as an operator, excuse me, as an operator, you just need to know who do you need to target. And while he's targeting Albert, if I switch the target to the right, and basically the tracking goes back to me. So that's a very good feature that you have in this camera. And of course, you have other features here wherein you can lock the scaling. As you move around the frame, you can lock your tilt. You can do a tilt lock. You can have an instant or an actual blackboard detection in the camera as well. We don't have it right here, but yeah, the feature is available right in the camera. And as you can see, I'm showing it to you right now. It's not recorded. Everything is happening as I play with it. Now, lastly, I want to show you recording. So I think we skipped that, Albert. But then recording is, again, a very important feature, mainly because not all PTZ cameras have a recording feature. And this is something that we're really proud of because this is a very interesting feature to have. Now, this recording allows you to instantly record. If I click start here, and if I have a micro SD slot, which unfortunately right now I don't have, but if I have a micro SD slot available or plugged into the camera, if I click start, it will start recording it. Now that's the easy part. That's the easy way out of getting a recording. But also the camera allows you to have scheduled recording. If I have scheduled recording, I can actually have this set up into the camera. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't have the SD card, but if I have a recording, if I have scheduled recording, I can do that in the camera. And additionally, you can also record you can break the recording per minute. So let's say you have a 2-hour show, okay? But you don't want that recording to be in full 2-hour mode. Okay. Now, what you can do is you can cut the recording every 5 minutes. So what happens is that automatically, until you hit stop, everything is going to be broken down into 5-minute recording, which means, and this is very important, which means that you can start editing as well. If you think about it, you can start editing while it's being recorded. How? Because you have access to the previous 5 minutes, and you can start editing with that 5 minutes. And question is, how do I get the file? Because the file is in micro SD card, which is basically plugged into the camera, and my camera is up there on the ceiling. Good question. And Telycam has a good answer to that. And the good answer is this. So if I have a camera on that, I can actually if I can access the camera's interface, I can also access the camera's built-in SD card, micro SD card drive into the camera. How do I do that? If I click download the image file, all the recordings of that camera will be placed here, and I can just download them into my system. I don't have to take the SD card because we understand that the camera will be mounted on the ceiling or mounted on the wall, which is positioned high up there. And with this feature, you just need to be able to be connected to the network, and then that's it. Now, that's the end of the presentation. The camera, just last one. The camera is probably one of the best looking image that I've seen in PTZ world. And I want you to experience that. And I want you to see that. I want you to feel that. We have our own experience center here in the UAE. We will be at CAPSAT. If you're not based in Dubai, we will be at CAPSAT. We will have this camera in there. And I want you to keep, I want you to look at the camera. I want you to keep an open eye. Be critical about it, because I want you to really see how good the quality of the camera is. And I tell you, this is really a big powerhouse and a big technology that Telycam has created for the industry that we are in right now. So with that, I want to send it back to Ivy and Ram, and we can open up Q&A if you guys have any questions.
Thank you so much, Larry. Let me just bring Ivy into our screen right there, everybody. Ivy, there are already questions in the chat, but some of them have been answered, but perhaps you'd like to elaborate. Shall we go through them one by one?
Yes, thank you, Larry, for this in-depth explanation and live demo. And we've got some questions in the chat box. Osma was asking regarding to the heat. Have us done the test of the camera for a long time? Actually, we want to clarify that before we ship every unit, all our cameras testing at 55 degrees Celsius for 7 days. So once the test passed, then we will ship out. So don't worry about that. And also, Tamara was asking for the firmware update for tracking. Yes, we will have a firmware update for the Vision and Explore, and the auto tracking will be optimized. And also, our Explore series and Vision series, they are all compatible with the QSys system. And one thing I want to highlight is our cameras can not only be controlled for the pan, tilt, zoom, like this kind of basic functions. All the functions, all the features in our cameras can be controlled and adjusted by the QCs. And for the question, we are still working on it. Once it's finished, then we will announce it. And also we have a question from Mustafa, and he was asking about the latency of our cameras. And I want to say we always done the latency test for NDI and SDI HDMI, and for the NDI HX3, we are I think we are the best latency performance cameras in the market. Our NDI HX to transmit 1080p 60, the latency is around 80 milliseconds. And this is actually the feedback we got from our other customer as well.
Mhm.
I think that's all the questions we've got so far, but if you still have any other concerns or want us to clarify more, you can also put in the box or just maybe send a request to turn on your microphone.
I just want to add something. So right now you're seeing my camera. My camera on your screen. I am around 5 meters away from that background. The camera is around 8 meters away from it as well. But if I'm just playing around with the zoom of it. If I call my my second presets right here, you will see that the camera. Oh no, it's not that. Let me just take it back. Here is Albert. So I'm just gonna take it back. I'm setting it because I want you to see how
Larry,
clean.
you should close the auto tracking first.
Yeah.
Because you
I didn't. Okay, let me. Thank you. Sorry. So right now, like what I said, if I zoom in to that image at the back right here, I want you to see how it maintains focus as it goes in every step of my zoom level. So if I do this, I keep on zooming in to that wall right there. So you will see an incredible amount of detail in that area. So right now I'm just gonna zoom out a bit. Sorry, I'm using my trackpad right here. That's why I'm having a hard time. But if I move a bit further here, if I move here, you will see that if I have moved the camera a lot, but then it still maintains that focus on that image right there, not me. Thank you. So even the screen right here, you will see that we have a screen right there. You will see that there's nothing, there's no moraine happening on that screen right there, even if there's a lot of details and elements that are available in that graphics that we're showing. So yeah, this is something that I really want to emphasize. And if I keep on zooming in, you will see that the focus is really quick, it's really fast, it's really sharp. The image that you get is really sharp. Of course, zoom has affected the overall quality of it because of the compression online, but that's why I really want to show you this to you guys in person, and you'll really like that camera. So yeah, that's it. Do we have any questions?
Larry, there's a question here. Can NDI IP cameras communicate on the network with a PC system without plugging the USB and HDMI cable? Just want to connect NDI/IP cameras on network switch directly. Who like to answer that question.
Sorry.
Actually,
Okay. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
actually, no. You have to use the plugin to work with QC's system. But you can download it on our website.
Right.
This
And
is sorry. I just want to clarify, because this is the rule from QSC. It's not a compatibility issue.
Mhm. And yeah, you're looking at two different network protocols, but the good thing with Telecam is that they created they created the solution for it, and which is the plugin that Ivy is talking about.
there's another question. Does it have slow mode for the pan tilt
Yeah, you can
control?
adjust the move speed on our either web UI or OSD menu or control panel. But you can put the move speed as slow as you want. Then when you pan tilt the camera, it's gonna be a slow mode.
Yeah, like what I'm doing right now, I put the move speed to the lowest possible value, which is 0, and it's not gonna move. If I put 1, then that's gonna provide me with a slower movement on pan and tilt of the camera, especially for small adjustments. That's really helpful. Thank you for the question.
Ali is also asking, if we use the VJoy controller, can we use only the NDI interface to switch directly without the HDMI?
I think Ali is asking a function for a switcher to switch the video sources. For the VJoy panel, this is just a joystick control panel. But you're asking a very good question, because there's one new product on our roadmap that's gonna be a video mixer that combines a PTZ controller and also a video switcher. And we will announce it in the end of 2025.
Amazing. And any other questions? All right.
Yes, that could be a good bundle to work with the PTZ cameras.
Yep. Okay. All right. If there's no more questions, I'd just like to, before we close this session, first of all, I would like to thank the Telycam team. Ivy is here, as well as Zoe, the marketing manager of Telycam, and the rest of the team. Thank you for joining us. Oh, there's another question. Of course, Osama is asking if camera works outdoors, and then the use cases we've shown earlier, we were able to demonstrate that the camera is indeed being used outdoors as well, and pretty durable, especially with the test that has been done, exposed to high temperatures, and it's working really well. Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Telecam are very quick to answer, so yeah, it's all there. It's making my job a lot easier. So I just
Right.
like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Now, before we close it, right? I just would like to say that, we've shown you different applications where the camera excellently performs. We've gone through the features, which are a lot, and really feature packed. We've spoken about the technology that's all packed into this camera, which makes it industry leading, in the very sense of the word. The question is, what's the next step? Right? The next step is for you guys to, of course, check it out physically, come to the MCX, speak to us individually, schedule your sessions. We would like to demonstrate this camera one-to-one. And I guarantee you, I challenge you to come and check out the camera and not walk away impressed. because everybody that has seen the camera has given us amazing feedback. I guess that's the only takeaway, because we have to take it to the next step, and we'd love to show you the camera in person. There's another question that's in before we say goodbye. Are there any multiple presets or ability to set slow transitions between presets?
Mustafa, yes. You can set up the preset speed in the web UI. That's how you can adjust the transition speed between presets.
I'm loving the questions. Thank you so much for asking all the questions. And if there are any more, please write them down. Otherwise, yeah, we'd like to close, but let's have a takeaway from Ivy and Larry. You guys have anything to say as we close the session? Ivy?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lawrence, and the whole Mediacast team. And this is a wonderful session, and I love the energy here. And thanks for all the questions and your engagement. And I'm looking forward to see you in CapSat.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And again, if you have any other questions, you know how to reach me, or you know how to reach anyone from Mediacast. And if you want to have a one-on-one demo, visit us at MCX, or if you're outside the UAE, I can even send you an SRT stream if you want, for you to see the quality of the image in real time. Of course, there's a bit of compression online, but that would give you an idea of how the camera would perform even on a streaming quality. So with that, thank you very much. Ramadan Kareem, everyone.
Thank
Ramadan
you.
Kareem, everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
You.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Samet. Rafiq, thank you. Shiraz, thank you for joining. Marius is asking, are we based in Al Quds? We are based in Al Barsa Heights, at the One Tower. Ravi, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. All righty. Till next time.
Thank you.